Everyone, hi. My name is John Ellis, and I'm, of course, going to show you several features of Business Central to hopefully make your life easier as an accountant, no matter which role you play in your accounting department. Let me, first of all, go ahead and start sharing my screen so that we can all see Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. It's a very intuitive application, as those of you know who currently use Business Central. And for those of you who don't know Business Central, it is the most frankly, in my opinion, the easiest ERP application on the market to learn about, to utilize. And let me just show you a few features that, as I put it a few moments ago, do tend to make life easier for accountants. There are a couple of new features that have been added to Business Central recently. One is called Find Entries. The other is called Search in Data. Let me go ahead right here on Business Central's home page or Role Center, which we're focused on, and I'm going to click the selection here, Find Entries. Now, in Find Entries, as the drop-down list here shows, you can enter criteria to search for documents, business contacts, and item references. I'm not going to focus on item references for this presentation, but specifically what item references does for you in terms of returning search data is you enter either a lot number or a serial number, and Business Central will return any data from the application that contains either that lot number or serial number. So let's do this. I'm going to click on search for documents. And here, as you can tell at the top, you can enter a document number, external document number, or a posting date. Click find, and transactions or the customer master or vendor master or inventory master, anything containing, say, this particular criteria will appear in the retrieved search window here at the bottom. Let me show you this. I'm going to put on, or put in rather, I should say, a posting date of October 31st of this year, and we'll search for any documents or any, like I said, Windows reports, whatever containing that posting date. Let's go ahead and click Find. And like I said, when the information is retrieved, we will obviously see this here within the Find Entries window. And then what we can do with that information is we can click on the links that appear. So in these links that we have now displayed on our window, as an example, I could click on the hyperlinked one over here on the right and see the posted sales shipment as it displays. Yes, this is a posted sales shipment, as we see here, with a posting date of October 31st, 2023. Let's back out of it. And like I said, I entered October 31st, 2023 as the posting date. If I click for posted sales invoice, for example, we will see a posted sales invoice again with a posting date of October 31st. See that here. So again, you can enter any criteria that you need. I'm going to stick with posting dates if that's okay with everyone. I'll just put in, as years ago, but that's the point, September 30th, 2019, click find. And here we are. Here's our hyperlinked list of any documents with that particular posting date. I don't know. I'll click GL entry to see all the journal entries, as you can see here on the left, with the posting date of September 30th, 2019. So again, it's very easy now with this new feature, Find Entries, to retrieve this kind of data, these kind of transactions, and any other sort of data within Business Central based on the criteria of either posting date, external document number, or all three. Let me get out of this, and I'm going to hit the drop-down list and show the next selection, Search for Business Contacts. And as you can see, we also have three criteria here: business contract type, which it can be either vendor, customer, or bank account, contact number, or external document number. Here's what I'm going to do. I don't have anything specific in mind in terms of a document number or a contact, but what I'd like to do is simply hit the drop-down list and choose customer. And now I'm going to click find. And here's what we have. We have right here at our fingertips the classic Business Central one-stop shopping. We have all sales data up here, and specifically, I'm sorry, sales transactions right here at our fingertips. So if I wanted to look up all of the sales invoices, unposted sales invoices, I can do that. I know that there's 21 of them. I also see that we have 3 posted credit memos. We have 1 unposted. We just have the full gamut of sales right here within the find entries window that I found on the homepage or roll center of Business Central. This to me is very helpful, if nothing else, with this window, just looking at all of the customer transactions, the number as well as the hyperlinks taking us to those transactions. Now, of course, granted, you can find, it's very easy in Business Central to find all of the sales invoices, all of the, we'll just say purchase orders, all of the this or that. But here, right here in one window, we've got all of the sales activity we can take a look at, and we can know at a glance, hey, we've got 13 sales quotes out there. Let's act on them. Let's pick up the phone or send an email to whoever we sent the sales quotes to see if we get that business. We know we got X number of credit memos, and we've got a lot of them out there. Yeah, we need to investigate and see what's going wrong there. So it's just very helpful. Even if you don't click the hyperlinks, it's very helpful to know how many of these documents you have. Now, again, that's the find entries feature, one of the 2 new features of Business Central. The other is search in data, which I'm going to click on. Now, again, a very nice feature. And as it says here at the top, it provides a field for text to search for. So I could enter any piece of business information here in this particular field. Click enter on my keyboard and have all data returned pertaining to that, or all transactions, rather, I should say, or anything along those lines pertaining to that data that I put in the field. So let's say I entered, we're in a sample company, so let's say I entered the sample customer called Trey Research. Do that right quick, and then I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, like I said. And we have returned right here, the customer and the contact for Trey Research hyperlink I could click on, any other contact information pertaining to Trey Research, GL entries that were affected typically from sales for Trey Research. And as it says there, well, by default, 3 are listed, but I could click on the show all results to retrieve all of them, or even down here in customer ledger entries, any other customer ledger entries, just pull up all of the results. But I don't know, just as an example, under posted sales invoices, I'll just click on one of these for the heck of it, and it should bring up, yes, it does, the posted sales invoice, or one of them for Trey Research that I clicked on. So just again, right here, as I keep putting it, at your fingertips, all of the transactions, all of the master data you need pertaining to whatever you enter in here in the search field. Again, Business Central has always been very intuitive, very easy, relatively speaking, compared to other applications on the market. But this is great. I mean, you can just put in something and search. It'll pull from all over the place and show you what you need. Now I'm going to move away from these 2 new features and go into another topic that I'd like to, so to speak, discuss with you in terms of helpful tools on an accounting basis. And that has to do now with accounts payable, and specifically cutting checks. So as we all know, to take a look at anything regarding cutting checks, we would click on the cash management menu and go to payment journals. Now, for this example, it doesn't matter too much which batch I choose. I'll just choose this one down here, I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna pull up, pretend to start a check run, an AP check run, and then show you 2 very useful reports. So in this case, I'm gonna hit the prepare menu and choose, of course, suggest vendor payments. And in the corresponding window, I'm not going to worry about putting in criteria. I'm just going to say, okay. And so after I click OK to this obligatory message, or the obligatory OK button on the message, I'm going to see here that potentially I could cut three checks for these three separate fictitious sample company vendors. Now, this is all well and good, but one thing I want to kind of take a step back and say is that, this would be a simple check run, three vendors, but it could just easily been 30, depending on how many checks we had to cut during the course of a week or month. But the interesting thing is, I don't think there are too many people out there that know about a couple of, again, useful reports you can generate while you are preparing to print checks. Because just like in any other ERP application, one simple mistake can mess up a check run, whether that causes you to void a check or something along those lines, whether the amount is wrong, whether you truly do not want to pay a vendor, or when I say the amount is wrong, maybe there are some discounts out there that you did not take advantage of in Business Central's Apply Vendor Entries window. So let's take a look at that piece. The first report I want to pull up, in fact, is found under the Actions menu and within Posting, and it's called Vendor Prepayment Journal. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the posting date that we sort of saw on the left in the background there, October 31st, 2023, and let's hit preview. And let's see, may have to play around a little bit with a magnification to try to make it easier on everyone. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so in this prepayment report here, vendor prepayment journal, the one thing I want to emphasize is that for all three of these transactions, we see what we would normally see in Business Central's Apply Vendor Entries window. And specifically, as I talked about with discounts, we don't have any here, and that's fine. But I'm just saying here in these two columns is where we would see payment discount tolerance, and the third column, excuse me, payment tolerance. So if you see anything here, I'm sorry, any amounts, anything regarding discounts here, that kind of alerts you to the fact that, oh, okay, we've got a discount waiting out there that we could use. Let's go ahead into Apply Vendor Entries and apply that discount so we are cutting the check for the proper amount. Now, this is the vendor prepayment report. The one thing I want to emphasize is that phrase prepayment. It's it's only a misnomer in a sense. I mean, with prepayments, we all think about that one word, prepayment. We're going to pay something beforehand. But prepayment is, in this sense, is spelled pre-payment. In other words, before you cut your checks, before you make your payment, it's a good idea to look at this report. So that's why it's called Vendor Prepayment Report now, or Journal rather. Let me go ahead and cancel out of this, and I want to show the other report that you can use should you choose, and that is also in Actions, Posting, and then Other, and it's the test report. So once again, I'll put in the proper posting date. Again, sample company, so I know we're out of October. It's early December already of 2023, but again, it's just a sample company. So let's go ahead and preview this and go from there. And magnify. Okay, and hopefully everyone can see this. I'm afraid if I, click the plus on down there anymore, then I'll have to play with it some more, etc. I just wanted to say this. Regardless, I want to say this particular test report, it's the equivalent of, in some ERP applications, of an edit list. Like, for instance, I came from a Microsoft Dynamics GP background before learning about the cloud several years ago. And then I'm sure some of you out there viewing this are also either in GP or have, come from it, so to speak, as I did. So this is the equivalent of GP's edit list. You're taking a look at the batch before you actually print the checks. So if there are any error messages that you need to take care of, you can do so prior than, as I said earlier, cutting checks, and then there are problems, and then you got to either start over or cut one check at a time, etc. Now, obviously, it also shows warnings, as we see here, and it's just simply saying, if you're going to do EFT, check printed must be yes for an electronic payment. Not worrying about about this because, again, this is just a presentation of this helpful report. I'm going to close out of this and going to go ahead. Well, for future sake, I'll delete all of these. But my point is, I'm moving to our third and final topic for the day here. Let me just go ahead and close out of the payment journal and get ourselves back to the roll center. What I want to talk about has to do with inventory, and specifically the last tool I want to talk about called the item revaluation journal. Now, this comes into play in situations where you have either posted, let's just say, a sales invoice, or you are preview posting a sales invoice, and you notice something, well, that's not right. And specifically, you'll notice that you have duplicate cost of goods sold accounts and duplicate inventory accounts debiting and crediting each other. So in essence, anything posted for the inventory account or the cost of goods sold account is a wash. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. What I want to say is that if you have, say, I don't know, a new item that you're going to be selling and specifically putting in inventory within Business Central, obviously it's important to put in, the proper data, the item ID, item description, the unit price, and get in some form or fashion quantity and unit cost, because obviously you got to have quantity ideally to sell, and putting in the proper cost, of course, is important for P&L reporting purposes and so forth. But the as far as the different ways of getting in the initial quantity for a new item as well as the unit cost, among other ways, people out there use, for instance, the item journal to put in, again, that first cost layer, the quantity as well as the cost. The one mistake that sometimes occurs, so to speak, out in the field is forgetting to enter that unit cost. That's what causes the problem, the classic problem that I mentioned a few moments ago, where you'll have either preview posted or posted a sales invoice, and there will be $0 for the inventory and cost of goods sold account because of the wash that I mentioned. Let me just start from the beginning, though, here. I'm going to go into the item journal window of Business Central and just pretend to put in a cost layer, more specifically, a initial quantity, initial unit cost for a new item, and go from there. So let me do this. As we see, one other very helpful thing in Business Central is the Tell Me or Search button here in the upper right. You don't know where you're going in Business Central, you're forgotten or whatever. Just type in what you need. Item, a handful of characters to it. That item space JOU, as I did here, and there we are. Item journal. So let's go there. And anyway, the fictitious item I have in mind here in the sample company is a chair. So I'm just going to say, okay, got a new item, new chair we're going to sell. So let's go ahead and we've got 100 of them. Let's go ahead and put in 100 of these chairs. I'm going to stick with the posting date for whatever reason of October 31st, 2023. As you're entering in, the initial quantity layer here, you could, of course, choose as the entry type. You could choose either purchase or positive adjustment. I'll choose purchase. Truthfully, you do purchase through, say, a purchase order and invoice, but in any case, I'll just leave it at that. I won't worry too much about changing the document number. What I will worry about is putting in or even looking up, if I don't have it memorized, the item here. So we're going to put in our Canberra guest chair red, and I'm specifically going to put it in for our main warehouse, main location, and the quantity I'm just going to put in again as 100, because I said we have 100 chairs lying around now that we can sell. Now, as you see, I should put in a unit cost, but for whatever reason, let's just say you forget, I forget. So it's so far all well and good. We've got a quantity of 100 for the new item we want to sell. I'll go ahead and post this, knowing that this is a mistake, like I keep saying. So let's go ahead and do posting post. And it's posted successfully. Now it is successful. It does have a quantity of 100. If we were to take a look at the item in inventory, yeah, the proper quantity is 100 on hand. Very good, but it's going to be a concern from a cost standpoint. So let me do this. Again, nice thing about Business Central, one-touch access to what you need. Let's just simply click the sales invoice under actions or the sales invoice button. So here we go. We want to enter a simple sales invoice. I'm not going to post it. I'm going to preview post, but I'm not going to post it. So I don't know. Let's do good old Trey research here and go from there. And I'm just going to put in when I scroll down, as I am now. Let's see. By the way, I'm going to change the document date just for the pure heck of it. Just say we had the invoice in, oh, I don't know, right before Thanksgiving, November 22nd, and go from there. Okay, so anyway, change the document date. Posting date I'll also put for November 22nd, all well and good. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and then, since I have this, I just have it memorized, the ID from what we did a few moments ago. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep it simple as I said. I'm going to put a quantity of 1. When this was set up in inventory, it was set up with a default unit price of $70, as you can see here. Let's go ahead and say we're pulling this from the main location. Now I'm going to tab over to unit cost to show and talk about one or two things. Yeah, you'll notice that it's $0. That's odd enough because if let's just say I wanted it to be $50 for the cost to make a $20 profit. Well, I should have entered $50, with that cost layer that I put in, but I didn't. So it's suspicious enough that you notice, hey, wait a minute, this is supposed to be $50. Was this not set up? Okay, well, hey, let's see. I'll go ahead and just put in the $50, whatever. So we've got our $50 unit cost in as we see here. So, okay, yeah, counting purposes, we do need to go ahead. And by the way, it says the customer has an overdue balance. So I could hit show details and enter a finance charge document for them to have to worry about. But obviously, I'm not going to do that. So anyway, let's just pretend to post this, or more specifically, I'm sorry, preview post this and everything, and we'll go from there. Sorry, laptop's a little slow there. Okay, so in any case, here at GL entry and posting preview, this also is suspicious enough. 6 entries, we only need 4. We need receivables, sales revenue, inventory, cost of goods sold, those 4 accounts. So let's click the 6 hyperlink. Yep, and sure enough, we see the problem that I mentioned in the beginning. So we have 2 inventory accounts, one credited for $50, the other debited for $50. That's a wash. Then we have cost of goods sold account debited for $50, normally correct. But then look at this. Same cost of goods sold account credited for $50. So it's a wash. Not only is it a nuisance display to have duplicates appear, it's going to be wrong if we post this. So in any case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out of the invoice completely and go from there. And yes, I want to exit. I don't care. Not Again, not going to post. So as I a little while ago mentioned, what we use to fix this is called the item revaluation journal. So let's go to the tell me or search button, and I'll just type in item reval J or whatever. Okay, so there it is, item revaluation journals. Okay, and so I'm just going to, you could default in document numbers, of course, in Business Central. I didn't do it for this. I'm just going to type in something fake, I guess, and go from there. And we want to do it for our Canberra red chair. And I'm going to tab and go from there, because specifically, guys, I want to tab over to this field, applies to entry. So let me click the ellipsis button in this field. And sure enough, there's the cost layer we need to adjust. We see our 100 quantity that we had posted earlier in the item journal. Let's fix it. I'm going to say OK. And so I have pulled it down. It shows the location of Maine. It shows the 100 quantity now. So what we need to do is we need to go here to unit cost revalued and enter that $50 that I should have entered earlier. Okay, very good. And since it's 100, it's going to ultimately be a $5,000 cost layer. So with all this in mind, let's go ahead and post. Good, successfully posted. So now what we're going to do, everyone, is we're going to find the sales invoice that we saved by clicking sales, and then the list of sales invoices. And I'm going to sort in descending order to get our most recent sales invoice. And so there it is, the tray research. Let's go ahead and bring it up. And let me close out of this and scroll down. Yeah, there is what we had entered a few moments ago or so. So I'm going to preview post again. And now this is looking better. Look, 4 entries instead of 6. Let's click on the hyperlink 4. And yeah, we're good. We got inventory credited for $50, cost of goods sold debited, excuse me, for $50. We got our sales revenue account, specifically income product sales, credited for 70. And of course, accounts receivable debited for 70. All good. So just to kind of recap what we showed today, there was the find entries search feature. There was a search in data search feature. There were the 2 reports for, so to speak, previewing the cutting of checks, the vendor prepayment journal, as well as a test report, and then the item revaluation journal that we used to fix the cost of goods sold issue for inventory valuation purposes. By the way, the one thing I forgot to say is that let's say I had posted this sales invoice, that's okay. I still would have used the item revaluation journal. The interesting thing and nice thing about it is by posting the item revaluation journal, it will go ahead and retroactively fix the posting of such a sales invoice. And that's all I have for today. We'll leave it open to any questions you might have and go from there. Well, if anyone does have any questions later about this, if you watch the recording and you have any questions, my email address is jellis at bondconsultingservices.com. Again, I'm John Ellis, so just feel free to contact me that way as well.